What's going on, guys? Live for week 6. Start sit questions. Ask them in the comment section below. Also want to start off just thank you guys for just watching the videos, hanging out with me every week. I'm very grateful for you guys. Internet's a little bit slow today. Just want to call that out. It is what it is. I'm checking my speeds. It sounds fine. So there's just something weird going on, but we only got 50 minutes till kickoff for the regular games, not this morning stuff right here. And I got the score up right now, 11-10 right now. And really, I didn't like this matchup. And going into this one. Fourth quarter, 9:35 left, 11-10. Brees Hall right there. Hold up. I got 3 questions real quick here. Chase, Bronze, or Henry PPR? Bronze. Can I get more clarification on Bronze real quick? Hold up. Right there. And I imagine you're talking about Chase Brown. Or is it Chase Brown or Henry? Chase Brown. Okay. Good question on that one. By proxy, by fundamentals, my gut goes with... everything's not loading up for me. My gut goes with Henry, but my analytics side goes with Chase Brown. I think if I'm looking at this, it's a dice roll for me, honestly. And I think PPR-wise, I feel a little safer with Chase Brown. I want to see what they're looking at here with Henry. They got Henry. Oh, no. It just went off. There we go. They got Henry ahead of Chase Brown. Like I said, fundamental-wise, I would think Henry ahead of Chase Brown. I think matchup-wise, catching check downs, I think Brown will get you there. I think when I'm thinking about that, I'd pick either. I think Henry and just go for it. Unless you're looking for the check downs for him to live off that. Next up, Judkins or Rachaad White. I think you got a good one there. They got Rachaad White at 13. I had Judkins higher than them. They got Judkins there. I feel safer with Judkins. I think White might have a little bit more upside due to the matchup. I think it was up. If it was me, I'd be rolling Judkins. I think he's safer. I think he's going to be getting a lot of touches here. I see around 20 opportunities in this matchup for him. Next one here. Da-da-da-da. If I can get to it. There we go. Chase Brown, Henry PPR. Yeah, that one's a tight one. I think you can go either way. I think fundamentals for me would roll Henry just because of the upside touch. Sorry, my bad. Hey, you're all good, my man. You're all good. Which 3? Golden, McMillan, Higgins, Shakir, or Bourne? McMillan for sure as your 1. Which 3 after that? Then Matthew Golden's a gamble every week. Same with Higgins, Shakir, and Bourne. McMillan. Jennings is in, right? McMillan, Bourne. And then it's upside play. Higgins. I mean, fundamentals would say Higgins. Fundamentals would definitely say McMillan, Higgins, and then Shakir. That would what fundamentals would say. Because Higgins is going to be for sure running routes and getting opportunities. It's just the Flacco situation and the dice roll with that. So thinking outside the box with that, if you rolled with straight up fundamentals, it'd be McMillan, Higgins, and then probably Shakir. If you're thinking outside the box here for strategy-wise, considering that, McMillan for sure, Shakir, and you got a dice roll, Golden, a Bourne. You're feeling safer with Bourne. So you got kind of two strategies to look at. If you just want to follow like what standard rankings would say, it would be McMillan, Higgins, Shakir. If you want to follow due to Higgins and Flacco and Flacco and that, and you don't want to roll with that, it'd be McMillan, Shakur, and Bourne. That's what I would look at, and I think that'd be a choice between what you want to roll with the Flacco situation. Hold up. Trade away Hendo and Aaron Jones for Kamara and Charbs. So you're looking at Charbs and Aaron Jones together. Kamara would be an upside. It would be your vet that you get good week-to-week production out of. Where are you at record-wise? Where are you at with that? I would believe Hendo has potential to splash somewhere later down the season. Kamara's banged up. I like the Kamara side. Like, that's the best player in the deal. Like, we're hoping Hendo turns into Kamara. He could turn into a little bit more. He's younger, fresher. He's explosive. He can turn into younger Kamara. We're hoping Hendo turns into Kamara at least during his rookie season. I think I'm cool getting Kamara if my team's structured that way. Imagine this is redraft too. I'm cool going after Kamara. That's probably going to give you more upside week to week. And it's safer right now. The other two players are kind of like gamble throw-ins every week in lineups. Honestly, when I'm doing lineups every week. Kraft or Pollard full PPR? Good question. Typically, when I have that situation, I want to see what they're saying. But typically when I have that situation, I'd roll running back because I know the touches are going to be there. So outside of that process, my next process would be like my matchup. Do I need to shoot for more upside? Do I need to shoot for that touchdown more? Do I need to shoot for that game script that breaks to get more upside? I think more often than not, I'd go Pollard over Kraft. But if I need to shoot for more of a gamble, I'm going Kraft. Like, if they scored a bunch of points on Thursday, like they had Scattaboo, I'm going up against that, and I need a little bit of extra ump because I don't think Pollard, I mean, the game would have to break. Something would have to break because standard, he's not hitting 20-plus points a week. So the odds of that's reduced. But I know he can get me to the fairway pretty easy, and there's no risk for him not getting me to the fairway, especially in this matchup. Like, it should be there. He's more than likely going to get you around that 10-point range, where Kraft should get you there. He should get you there. I think Kraft has more upside. If I need to shoot for more of that upside, then I'm going Kraft. If I just need to just safely get those running back touches, a couple targets out of the backfield, just get there. Like I had Scattaboo, I'm good. Then I'm going Pollard. If I'm going up against one of the best teams in the league, if I want to get Scattaboo or something like that, I went off on Thursday, for sure Kraft. I think more often than not, now that I talked through it, I'm probably going Kraft a little bit more unless I absolutely need that safety net. ETN or Swift, I'd roll ETN. If it was me on my lineups, I'd roll ETN just because it's a safer play for me. I just know what I'm going to get. I know what I'm going to get with my touches. Swift needs to break one loose on one of his receptions. I like his matchup this week. I just think ETN is just safe with his workload. Full PPR, Michael Carter or Shaheed. I'm thinking Shaheed because Carter may lose touches tonight. I saw a tweet. I was trying to pull it up, actually. Right here it is. Look at that. Right here it is. I was trying to pull that up, but my internet was being slow, like I said. Big late news, Bam Knight over Michael Carter today for Cardinals. I actually had Bam Knight in the waiver wire video, the one that's like super deep at running back. A lot of people probably don't watch to the end of that. But the thing is, like Michael Carter struggled to get 2 yards after contact per attempt. He didn't do it. And his yards per carry, every outing he gets is low. He had one of over 4 last year. The rest of them were low. That's why I looked at Michael Carter as a risky play off the waiver wire, and he was more expensive last week over Johnny Fumbles at the red zone. Let's just say that. But the explosive, that's why he led into that versus video with the South Park Timmy fight. That's what I led into that. And when I'm thinking about that this is kind of a move that it's just I just don't think you're going to catch the next big guy. I think Michael Carter has really shown himself last year and this year. Like, he's a guy that Needs a lot of volume. If he ain't getting it, I mean, honestly, it's probably whoever crosses the goal line. They're probably going to flip the touches like they did last week. If you're watching that game, last week, Michael Carter got the first 2 series, and Bam Knight was in. Then you're like, where's Amari Democado? Then they're probably going to flip it around. It's probably going to be who scores the touchdown. I think Michael Carter has really shown himself that, like, efficiency touch per touch, it's hard for him to get over 4 yards per carry consistently game to game. And one thing I noted earlier this week, which was, I can't even remember which video, I said it once, that the Amari Democado fumble might have shined light on all the other inefficiencies that went on. Like, because the coach really pissed. Think about when you're really pissed off at your house or whatever. Just all the other bad stuff just starts coming up in the back of your head. And dumb stuff like your dog pooping on the floor 2 weeks ago or whatnot. Michael Carter not hitting 4 yards per carry. Michael Carter not getting 2 yards after contact per attempt. Like, they're probably going to split it. I imagine it's just a touchdown gamble. I don't think Michael Carter is going to be the next top 10 running back anytime soon, top 12 or anything like that. I think he really needs a lot of volume for that to hit. So if you want to do that, I think it's up to you on that gamble. And I think if you told me you did that, I'd be like, probably not a horrible decision if you really need it after that news. Start 3, half PPR. Keenan, Pittman, Walker, Swift, Haskins. Keenan, easy. Michael Pittman, 2. Then after the other 3 running backs, it's really dependent on game script if you're looking per points. If you're looking per fundamentals, it would be between Walker and Swift. It's half PPR. That kind of hurts Swift a little bit. Walker's workload was weird last week. And I don't know if there was betting entailed with that, because I ain't gonna lie, Underdog had his prop bet at 10.4 or something, and all the numbers said that they should have had it higher. So I did not know if they're trying to get people to bet higher on them to rake in money, and then he got pulled out by the goal line after having a long run getting him there, which I get you bringing the fresher running back, but he scored like 8-9 fantasy points. He scored 9.4, 9.6 last week, but averaged over 8 yards per carry. It was weird. It was really weird last week with Kenneth Walker. He might have a get-right game, but I can't say that as analysis. They got Swift, Walker. Where they got Walker? They got Walker below him against Jacksonville. Swift against Washington. I think Kenneth Walker's more likely to give you 20-plus points if you're shooting it that way. Keenan, Pittman, Walker. Keenan, Pittman, Swift, if I just want to, because he's going to get 5 targets in this matchup. He'll at least get you to the fairway, and you don't have to worry about Walker getting messed with. However, Keenan, Pittman, Walker, if I need to shoot for that 20 spot, I think the likelihood of Swift getting there, he needs something to break open, where Walker's got that speed to do it. I mean, Swift's got it, but Walker has shown that a lot with his good vision, and he had a weird game last week. He had a really weird game last week. That's how I'd look at it. I think most of the time I'm starting. I know, like, I like to give you guys scenarios and be honest. I think more than likely for me, I'd be starting Kenneth Walker. And before that game against Tampa Bay, he had 8.6 yards per carry, 86 yards. Got pulled right. He had that long run. He got pulled. I understand the fresher guy and stuff. That was weird with that. And you look, every other game, 12, 18, 18. And they had his Underdog Fantasy prop bet at 10.4. And then they did like a tweet where they were like, hey, Michael Carter's at 10-something, and he's like a half point ahead of Kenneth Walker or whatever. I have that. That was, let me see. I called that out. That was weird. I think people chased it. I think they were trying to get people to chase it. Oh, look, Alex Pereira makes me happy. Oh, yeah, it's down. Mario Kart 64 is good. I'll show it. My internet's baked right now. My internet's baked. Like, my download speeds are solid. It's just like where I'm at in the house. It's Bam Night, finish it, remember Roto World. All kinds of, all I do is jokes. You don't have to follow me there. All I do is jokes. Here it is. Here we go. Let this load. Let this load. Give this a second. Give this a second. This is what I'm telling you about. Like, Underdog Fantasy, there was something up with that game. They had a 45.5 over-under with a spread 3.5. So saying it was tight. Typically in games with good movement, Walker beat this total 3 out of 4 games. What is going on here? You're looking at what Tampa Bay is giving up the running backs going into that matchup. They had them at 10.25. Like, is there trickiness with these betting teams in the NFL? And below Michael Carter, which it's against Tennessee. Tennessee gives up points to running backs. He beat that. But it's like, hey, Kenneth Walker, come hit this over on him. Come hit this over on him. Look at what he's doing. Like, that's what I was thinking. That's what I thought. I didn't even look at. I was like, why is Kenneth Walker so low? Need a flex, Chase Brown or Kendre Miller full PPR. I'd roll Chase Brown. I think Kamara's out or in. I thought Kamara was going to be in. He was shining to be in. Active. I would go Chase Brown and hope we get some targets out of the backfield from Flacco. Flacco's been with this team for like 4 or 5 days. He's probably going to spam Jamar Chase, and he's probably is going to spam Chase a little bit in the flat. Flacco's good at pushing it downfield. He's good at getting it to the tight ends too. I'd be looking at that as a sneaky play. It's a wild card, but he's also like, I think he's going to spam the flat a little bit. He did that a few times already. I mean, Samson, remember? This year. 8 targets week 1 against the Bengals. 3. That Green Bay game, that one was rough to begin with. And then Judkins comes back. Like, he targets the running back. I would do Chase Brown. That'd be safer. You don't have to worry about Kamara. Kendrick's probably all right for a gamble flex. I think I feel a little bit safer for Chase Brown. That's what I would do if it was my lineups. That's exactly what I do. I'm going to check in on this game. Usually I got my phone back here with it on. 2 minutes left. Throw that on. Have that in the background. My internet's been shot back here today. Sometimes it is. So my house, everything's that way. And then I'm in the far end. It's not getting a good signal from that. I need to get like a little booster. I have Starlink. I live out in the country. I live out in the middle of nowhere. Need a defense. Not much to pick from in my league. Tampa Bay, Miami, Bears, Saints, Lions, Dallas, 49ers. All right. First off, I'm going to go to what Fantasy Pros has, and then I'm going to narrow it down with what I think. This is a market of 38 rankers. They all rank for free. So I look at this as market rankings. So kind of like how you put your money in the market, S&P 500, whatever, and it's kind of what I like to use for that. Tampa Bay, it's got a fun matchup. I'm out on Miami. I'm out on Bears. I think that Saints-Patriots game could be up and down. 49ers might be my bet here. Let me double check. At Tampa Bay, I would lean Tampa Bay than San Francisco. I think the Dallas game, it has a 49.5 over-under. I wouldn't chase that. That Lions game, I believe it has a 52.5 over-under, which is one of the highest on the seasons. Project to have a high point total. Sorry if it kicks me out. That Saints game, Patriots, that's a game that could go either way for sure. That's a game that could go either way. Saints and Patriots. Like, it could be one of the higher scoring games or low scoring games on the slate. I think Tampa Bay can push the 49ers, but I think it could also be anticlimactic in the beginning. I think with the 49ers are coming back, they got Jennings. I'd go Tampa Bay or 49ers. I'm leaning Tampa Bay with that due to the injuries. I think that one could be like Miami's giving the deep ball up a lot. You got JD5 back with the Commanders and Bears. That one has a high over under. I think when you're looking at this is why. This is why I'm chasing matchup. They got a 46.5, which is fine. You're looking at this. I think you're going to get a good pushback in this game. I think this game could have a little bit of chaos to it. Your next matchup here, because you got Saints-Patriots, I mean. Boom. This is enough. 46.5 over under, but to me, that 46.5, the market's saying we do not know if it's going to break, if Spencer Rattler can push it to get us past that, or if Spencer Rattler's going to throw a bunch of picks and get us below that. And if that happens, this could be an ugly matchup. I think, that being said, Drake May's been on fire. I'd roll with one of these two teams from this matchup, 46.5 over under. And I think I'd go Bucks, then Niners, but it's super tight. And I believe it's super tight for them, too. I believe. Tampa Bay, where's 49ers at? Yeah, it's pretty tight. That's what I do. Do I like the Raiders defense? Let's see what they like him. They got him at 9. Let's see here. There it is. They got 41.5 over under. They got Cam Ward there. And I like it. I like him as a sneaky play if I got to money ball it because of Cam Ward and what's going on there. It's really, if Geno Smith sucks this week, then it could be ugly like the Arizona game. And if Cam Ward starts getting it together. But I think they could be a sneaky play. Here's a new thing I've been using. Let's just see what they think about this game here. Let's see what they think about this game here. See if they give me the chart. There we go. They got this game getting tighter. This is the betting market on each side. Getting tighter right before we get into that. I think this game could be a mess. I think there's a chance it could be a mess in a good way. And that's what that's telling me. That's what I've been saying all week long when I've been looking at this matchup. Like, I hate this matchup. I think there's a chance they could be a sneaky play this week due to the Tennessee offense. There's also a chance, like, this is what that tells me, is the market's realizing that this game could get gritty and ugly because Tennessee's defense, despite the offense, has actually been very gritty in some of those matchups. Thank you for the super chat, Jay. Need upside start. Thank you for the clarification on that. Derrick Henry, Pollard, Matthew Golden. Start Bam Knight or Michael Carter. First off, Bam Knight, Michael Carter. I think that's a vibe thing. I think also, with that, I think personally, if it was me, I'd be going Bam Knight. Like right here. We had the news right here. Bam Knight over Mike Carter today for the Cardinals per Schefter. They were pretty honest last week with the touches. They're pretty honest. Like, they came out late and mentioned that. They're pretty honest about that. We've been saying it this week that watch out for Bam Knight. And Michael Carter struggled couldn't get to 4 yards per carry. Less than 2 yards after contact per attempt. Had multiple games last year where he couldn't hit 4 yards per carry. I think really you're shooting to see which one gets the touchdown. I'd go Bam Knight, personally, if I had to. Derrick Henry, Pollard, Matthew Golden. If I'm shooting for straight upside, gamble. The two big upside plays to get out here is Matthew Golden on the big shot downfield, or Derrick Henry breaking off that long run. If he can see that daylight and break it loose. If it's just straight upside, like to the moon, and if it busts for just 5 points, and I understand that, and that's really what I'm shooting for, it's between Golden and Henry for me. And really, it's, can I get that big play? Can I get that big play? I think more often than not, I think Henry, due to the touches. I think Golden's close. If I'm worried about that matchup with the Rams and Cooper Rush, then I'll just see if I can cash on that big play from Golden. I think Pollard is solid getting you to 10, 12 PPR fantasy points. I think he's solid for that this week. I think he's got to break loose for some touchdowns. They may use Tajay Spears a little bit more. That might impact that upside. I think Derrick Henry just breaking loose on that big play, which is hard to project. If I hate Cooper Rush, I think it was me, I'd probably roll Matthew Golden. If I'm leaning upside to the point where I'm trying to hit that 20 spot, and if I hit 5, I still don't care. I just got to hit that 20 spot like I went against Scadaboo or something. But if you wanted those guaranteed touches, if you want more like a 15 or more, then Derrick Henry. But I think more often than not, I'd lean into Matthew Golden. Also, sorry for just going over so much. I try to be honest and try to be very detailed and give scenarios for you guys. I started Mason Taylor and Courtney, so I need upside. That makes sense. Makes sense. Let me look at the Packers, Bengals. Man, Golden's due. He's got a good separation score. He's due every week. And he's due every week. He got 6 targets, 4. He's got 10 last 2 games, 4 the first 2 games. This Cowboys game was a good matchup. We're coming off a bye. Sometimes a good time for rookies. He's a first-round pick. We're waiting for his time to blow up. He's got a good matchup here. I think Golden, if I'm shooting for pure upside, that's what I'd do. Carter getting 25 yards. Thank you, though, for super chat and the question. Carter getting 25 yards. Prop bet, I bet. Prop bet. Let's look at this. I think they're going to 25 total rush yards. Okay. I think they're going to be behind in this game. Vegas is saying they're going to be behind. For this to hit, we need Daniel Jones to suck in the first 2 quarters. We need Daniel Jones to suck in the first 2 quarters. That's what Vegas is saying for this to, because they're going to abandon the run, and Amari Demicado is going to be out there. If that 9.5 spread lives, which it didn't live on Thursday, it'll live on a lot of these games or be close. We just need it to be close. We don't need over. We just need it to be close for fantasy purposes. We don't need the exact numbers. And they'll be, from my rough estimates from every week, having to hold myself accountable every night when I do this, usually about 3 of these are off. Usually most of them are very close. And this team looks like a team that's about to roll over. They're already into another starting running back. I think there's a chance. I think that's a bet that if it goes wrong, it's because the Cardinals aren't in a position to run the ball a lot. I think there's a chance if he breaks one loose, he can get there. I think Bam Knight's going to get most of the touches out of that back. I think actually it could be a Amari Demicado game if that lives like that. I think that's it took him 18 carries to get to 51 yards last week. He ain't getting 18 carries this week. This ain't the Titans. He ain't getting 18 carries. 9 carries. He needs 9 carries on that average to get there. I think he needs to break one loose. And usually he's under 4 yards per carry on almost every game of the Cardinals except for like 1 or 2. So I would bet against that. I'd bet against that. But it's a tight one since it's so low. Olave at New England. Dubs at Bengals. Olave is your safe play due to the target share. Olave is the safe play. If you want safety and security, it's Olave. And that's a game that could blow. That's a game script that I've been studying pretty hard because I think it's going to either break one way or the other, either be ugly, anticlimactic, it's all in Spencer Rattler, or it's going to blow wide open and be one of the funnest. That's the thing about that. I think Dubs is a gamble. A gamble in a good way and bad way. Like, he's a guy that could go nuclear against these Bengals, get you a 20 plus, but it's the carousel effect with the Packers. It can go to anybody. If I want to shoot for that gamble, I'd go Dubs. If I just want that safe play, I'm going Olave. I think a lot of my lineups, think about the teams I got, I think more often than not, I would shoot Olave. If I'm in a position where, and also too, why I go this far in depth trying to help you guys is someone else is watching, and that might help them with their lineups or even with thought process. If, like, I went up against a Scattaboo, or if I started in this early game that just didn't fire, I'd go Dubs. I'd go Dubs because I think there's a risk. I think it's a 50-50 risk in this matchup that this game is either going to blow up or be very anticlimactic, but Olave is the safer of the two. Darnold, Sam Darnold, or Mac Jones? I think they're close. I want to see what the market says. I call this the market rankings. 33 experts. I think it's close. I think Darnold's safer. Like, if it was me just looking at the names without having to look, they got them right now. Just looking at the names, I'd do Darnold over Mac Jones. I think both of them are in great matchups. I think both of them, I got to look at, I think it might be fair where they're ranked. I think we got a good quarterback week. I think we got a good quarterback week. I feel safer with Sam Darnold. Mac Jones, I think we might catch some more firepower in that matchup. So Mac Jones for more ups. But I think more often than not, if I'm looking at my lineups with what I got, I would go Darnold. I would definitely do that. My internet's slow, so it's not allowing me to pull. Keep up the good work, Bruce. Thank you so much, Bobby Dice. I'm trying to get the next one to pull up. My internet's been very slow, but it's allowing it to keep everything up. Hendo versus Bam. I'm thinking Hendo's got more upside. Here we go. It's moving slow. Hendo's got more upside for me, and I like to shoot for upside a lot. Bam's a big wild card. I think that matchup is kind of scary for Michael Carter and Bam. Like, it could be a Mario Democado game, and it's either he's in the doghouse or he might get sympathy touches too due to that backlash or whatever. I think it's just water under the bridge. I don't think it's either. I think it's just going to be game script dependent. He's also shown that he can be explosive on any given touch. I think I'd go Hendo and shoot for the upside unless I'm just trying to get guaranteed touches and get to a certain threshold. That's a little simple, but I think Hendo's got that same threshold though. I think I'd go Hendo and shoot for that upside. Bam will probably beat him if he gets a touchdown, but that's a gamble. Pittman or Chase Brown? I like Pittman this week. I think it's tight. I don't trust Flacco, and I think Pittman's going to be in a good position this week. If it was my lineups, I'd go Pittman. I think in reality, I think scoring-wise, how it could end up, I think it's going to be pretty tight and dependent on Flacco. I think more often than not, if it was my lineups, I would be picking Pittman when I'd be looking at that. Start 2 wide receivers and a flex PPR. 2 wide receivers and a flex. Walker, Derrick Henry, Ladd, Pickens, Diggs, Bourne. Ladd for sure. Ladd and Pickens. Hold up. Now we got the flex. Kenneth Walker, Derrick, Diggs, Bourne. Derrick Henry, Walker. If I want running back touches and security for my flex, I go Ladd, Pickens as my 2 wide receivers. If I want security running back touches, I think it's really a pick on between the two, but I think Walker was slow last week. I'd probably go Walker. Bourne, Diggs. I'd go Ladd, Pickens, Walker. That would be my lineup I would choose for myself. If I was in a scenario where I need more that'd be what I'd go with. If I wanted to tweak that and I didn't like Walker, I did not like to share, then I'd go Diggs as my next one. That's what I'd do. But by fundamentals, if I was making lineups real quick, those would be the 3 I would personally choose. I have Samuel Worthy starting. Should I start Harrison or Vital at flex? I'm cool with Worthy. Samuel's got the Q. I'm going to pull up, see if he's got any news, because after you sit here a bit, everything gets a little foggy. Deebo Samuel, heel, questionable for Monday night. It's questionable for Monday night against Bears. Analysis will need to clear up through pregame warm-ups without any issues in hopes of suiting up for a watch without number 1 Terry McLaurin against the Bears. If he's out there, I like him a lot better than Harrison and definitely better than Vital. The question is, I don't have the answer for this. I don't have the answer for that. Because that is totally game time. That's totally game time. Now, that being said, after that's a gut. Harrison, quarterback, a lot of gamble. A lot of gamble there. That's the thing. I don't know. Because if like you got tonight's sleep, it's later in the day, he could be good to go. I don't know. That's the question. He's got a great matchup here. JD5's back. He could cash hard. And then after that, I don't know if you want any of those wide receivers, and then I don't know what's available for you on the Bears side. So, honestly, I like Samuel healthy better than Harrison right now. I do not know if he's going to be out there. That is the main question. I would look, if you're worried about that, go Harrison, because he's also in a great matchup. He's in a great matchup. He'd be fine. If you're really worried about that, go with Harrison. You're good. Worthy, I'd keep in there personally. But if you're worried about that, what would I do personally? What I would do personally, I'd probably, if it was me, I might keep him in and gamble. But that's a gamble, and that's no certainty. Thank you for the super chat. Let's pull that guy up. Thank you so much, Overcome. Thank you so much. Worthy against third-string DBs, even though I thought Thornton and Hollywood looked solid. Weak Diggs or Keenan in PPR flex. All right. I like Keenan the best. I think he's the safest play for me. I think Keenan's the safest play for me. With Quinton Judkins out. And also Keenan. What I like about him, right? We got that Miami matchup on the road. Why I like it on the road is it just helps the other side a little bit more since they're a little volatile. Keenan, third string DBs, Worthy. Just want to throw up his stuff. I think they're all great plays, and that's why we're here. We got all great plays. He's got a great matchup here. High over under for that game. I think it's at 52. It might have changed. That was a high over under. It could have been volatile enough to change. It was at 52. It's still at 52 and a half. Still at 52 and a half right there. Last time I looked at it was Friday. And then you got Diggs. I think Diggs' game is the riskiest of the 3. That Saints game. I think there's a chance that game blows wide open and he goes crazy. I also think there's a chance, and it's really on Spencer Rattler's end, that it slows it down. That it just slows it down. I think it was me. I have him ranked Keenan, Worthy, Diggs. If I need more upside, then I'm going Worthy over Keenan. I think Keenan's the safest play of the 3. When I look at QJ down, he's hitting most games except for that Giants game. Last 2 games is a little bit, but if I need guaranteed 10-ish, I'm going Keenan. If I need to shoot for more than that, I'm definitely going Worthy. And Diggs got similar upside to Worthy in the matchup. But, like, it's the other end. Like, they may not need to throw it as much in the game script. Like, it could go either way, though. Like, if Rattler's cooking, then they got to cook. And then that's a good match. They're good dance partners. But I know for sure, I feel good that the Chiefs and Lions game is going to push. That game's going to push good. And then when I'm looking at this, you got QJ out, Dolphins giving up balls in the air. We even before the season started, we saw that in joint practices, and that was a huge indicator. He's getting 9, 7, 11, 7, 10 targets. I think Keenan's the safest play. If I just want the safety and security, I'd go Keenan. If I need to shoot a little bit more than that, his highest total is 19 on the season, 19.8, 19.5. If I'm shooting for more than that, then I'm going Worthy. But if I want to that's how I would play it. That's exactly how I'd play it. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's how I'd play it. Now, I know that's not a direct answer, but most of my lineups, I'd go Keenan. There's probably about, thinking about all my lineups, probably most of them would end up being Keenan, and the rest would probably go Worthy for the upside. Let's see. I do not know where I'm at here. Pittman Brown, I answered that one. Lad Henry, Samuel Worthy starting. Should I start Harrison or Vital? Here we go. Next one. All right. Tongues or McBride? I'm going to just risk Trey McBride. I think I just roll out my stud and just eat. That's what I would do. Kamara or Carter? I'd roll Kamara. I'd roll Kamara. Yeah. Let's see here. Start 2. Half PPR. Marvin Harrison Jr. K-Dub 3. Worthy. I think you have 3 great players. I think you have 3 great options here. I like Kenneth Walker this week, but I think him and Marvin Harrison Jr. is risky. I like Worthy. I think I'd have Worthy in there nonetheless. And then Kenneth Walker that's how I would do it. I think you got 3 great options, so if your gut's telling you the other way, then cool. That's what I'd roll for me. Is it worth picking up another T like Waller, Ertz, Tongues, Pitts, or over playing Kincaid, who still question? Yeah. Waller's going to get a lot of work and targets. Pitts, always good with volume. He's a little volatile, but deeper targets downfield. Yeah, I think all 4 of them are solid. I think I'd rank them Waller, Pitts, Ertz for the rest of the season. I'd look at it that way. I honestly, when I'm looking at them week to week, I think if I was ranking them, I'd have them ahead of Kincaid a lot of weeks too. I think it's fine to stream, especially when you got that much talent on the waiver wire in your league at tight end. Thank you so much, though. Thank you for the question. Nice. Thank you. I'm glad I could help you. Thank you so much, Overcome. Thank you so much. They're both gambles. I can definitely see this being a mess for the Cardinals. I definitely see them being behind. Flacco, I don't know. Talent-wise, wide receiver. My brain is too tired right now to think through his career. There's a lot of talent there. He may just go. I'd go T and shoot for upside most of my lineups. If I'm rocking solid, then Bam. But most of the time, my lineups, I'd probably go T and shoot for that upside. I'm gonna try and be a little quicker for you guys. I see questions rolling in. Bam Knight or Sterling Shepard at flex? I'd probably just roll Bam Knight. Here. I'd probably just do that. And just hope we cross the goal line. Yeah, I'm scared of Rattler this week in that matchup. I'm scared of him every week. You just don't know what you're going to get. But I'm also understand that he could create a great matchup either way. But when you got 3 good guys, I kind of lean to the safety net. Heck yeah, lightning round time, fellas. Lightning round. Crafter, Pollard. I had this question earlier. And Here's the thing. Quick answer. If you need the running back safety touches to get to the fairway, Pollard, I think it's going to be rough for him to get that 15 plus, 20 plus. Something has to break, multiple touchdowns. Tajay Spears is there. I think most times you're shooting upside with Kraft. Unless you're rocking good with Scadaboo from Thursday, you're going Pollard. And then Pollard's also fundamentals. You'd rock the running back unless you need to shoot for more upside. Taylor got me 1.2. Probably screwed Mister this week. Yeah. I'd shoot for upside on other lineup decisions then. Mason Taylor. Like, I'd shoot for upside then. Like, that's why I'm going, that's why I sound wishy-washy a lot with the lineup decisions, because a lot of it's like this guy, that guy. And to make it easier, I just cut it both ways on all those lineup decisions, just in case there's someone else listening that has the similar question, and then that strategy just bakes into them. That helps more people out. 5 minutes to go. Looks like my internet's starting to... Nope. The thing dropped. Rough internet so far. Anybody else that I missed? 5 more minutes to kick off. Looking through here. Thank you guys so much. 13-11. I did not like this matchup. Let's see what Kashi had going into this. Or is it just live through the game? I've started using this in my process. I've been studying Gambler TikTok. And I've been studying their process. And trying to figure out little correlations that I can steal from them. And a lot of them are looking at this. And not just like, oh, they had this team better than the other team. More like what the market's thinking. And then putting up against what you're thinking. Like, they got Buffalo ahead of Atlanta. So, I've been watching them. Trying to pick up whatever tidbits they got. Just trying to make my process better. Because my process really starts with identifying the game. Trying to predict the game. Now we know, like, how these teams give up on defense. Fantasy point wise to running backs, wide receivers. And we know the talent levels and stuff. Looking at the game, trying to predict the game, and now also trying to predict how it could break good and bad. On top of that. That's my process. Kickoff's about to start. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.